What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another FB Designs tutorial. I am Rob, your host, and today we are going to be creating what you see on the screen right now. Now, I want to go into a little bit about why we're doing this, because something like this could be done in Photoshop, but I started out doing it in After Effects because I might want to add animations to it later. And we might even touch a little bit about that in this tutorial. But how this all started was I was watching another amazing creator by the name of Dope Motions on YouTube. And he suggested this site right here called placeit.net. And they do pretty cheap logos, backgrounds, and whatnot. So he was promoting this site, so I decided to go take a look at what they had to offer. And I started messing around, and as you can see on the screen here, I put in FB Designs and YouTube tutorial. And I wondered to myself, how long would it take me to recreate something like this? And to make this really quick, it only took me about 20 minutes or so of playing around with it. And this was the result that I came up with in After Effects. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how I did this and why it's good to get to learn how to do some of these things for yourself, so you're not being charged $40 for a simple logo. So let's get started. Jump on over to After Effects. We're going to start out by creating a new composition. We will name this main. We will leave it at 1920 by 1080, 30 frames a second. So that's fine because it's really only one frame. You can even probably shorten this up to 1 second if you want to. Oh no, we'll go ahead and put it at 10. If I have a few minutes, then maybe we'll go into animating this a little bit. We'll see. Leave it at 10 seconds. First thing we want to do is create a new solid. We'll name this BG for background. And we'll leave it a solid background. As you can see, if you turn on transparency, it's completely black. Next, what we want to do is the first font, the main font was a font called Adavail. This one right here. So we will go ahead and select that. Make sure we're not selecting our background. Click our text tool. Click, and we will type out FB Designs. We will select it all. Make it a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing with it. Grab it, drag it over. Take my caps lock off, of course. Perhaps make it just slightly bigger. Yeah, that'll work. Go to Align. If you do not see the Align, go over here to your window, and you should see it checked off up here, and then you'll be able to see it over here in the right, to the right. Let's get it centered up. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to make this all white. Next, what I did was, and this isn't a paid plugin, so everybody should have this. I added a warp. This plain one right here. Take it, drop it on your letters. Now what we want to do is we want to come over here, change it from arc to wave. Take your bend, and you can adjust your bend a little bit, and that's just what I did. About something like that, as you can tell from the website, it's just barely got a wave to it. Actually, that looks like a little bit more than what I had, but something like that. And then also what I did was select your hit Alt and click the right button on your keyboard and just tap it over so it gives it a little bit more space between the S and the I so you can see it defined a little bit better. And that's the first step. Next, what I did was you right click. Well, here, let's do this. Let's hit Control D and make 2 more copies of it. Take your second copy, and what we want to do is here, we'll shut this one off and we'll shut this one off. Double click that. We'll make this a black because this will be the black shadow. Let's rename this to black shadow just so we keep everything organized. There we go. Of course, we could change this right now to, well, here we go. We can do this. We'll uncheck that and we'll turn on the transparency so we can see what we're doing back here. But now we have, oh, also you want to go in, toggle, change your mode to screen. And then next, what we want to do is we want to right click on the shadow, go to layer styles, go to stroke. That open and your other one being seen, see there's a red stroke there now. But we don't want a red stroke, so we need to come up here to our black shadow, stroke, change this to black. Then we want to take this and we want to make it slightly bigger. About like that. Then go up here, make sure you're picking your selection tool or hit V on your keyboard. Grab it. Move it around just like that. That way we have that shadow effect that you've seen right here. Now you can play around with this and make this look however you want. I believe I may have did a little bit of scale on it. I can't remember. But you don't want to go too overboard, as you can tell. And hit down on your keyboard and you can move that down a little bit. Oh, you know what? I think the screen was the wrong one. Let's do add. Turn this one into screen. There we go. Gotta make sure your black shadow's underneath your white. Now we could take this, move it around so we get a little bit better of a look. Let's take this and drop it here. Now we'll bring it back up to 100%. Just move it down slightly. Or use the arrows on your keyboard. Makes life a lot easier. We'll bring it over just slightly and there we go. Now we have our shadow. Next, what we want to do is the, let's see, what else do we have? The blue in the background. Again, take Designs 3. We'll rename this to Blue, I don't know, Outline. That sounds good to me, if I spell it right. Go, and we'll take that and we're going to move it down below everything else. And now turn that back to normal, by the way. As long as our layer setup is correct, we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so now we got our blue. turn it on so we can see it. Highlight it. And let's pick a blue that's pretty close to what we had. I think it was that saturated, but we'll just start out with that for right now. We can always adjust it later. Okay, again, we want to go right click it, go to layer styles, stroke. Open this up, go to stroke, change this to the blue that we want. In this case, we can just go pick it from here. There we go. Okay. Now we want to bump up the size of that stroke some. And we're going to have to bump it up quite a bit and possibly move it around a little bit so it starts to cover up or go underneath the black, just like so. Maybe add a little bit more to that stroke. Trying to keep it to where we're not touching here and we're not touching over here, but we have a pretty consistent look all the way around. And that looks pretty darn good to me right there. Okay, so that's the first part of the lettering. Pretty simple, huh? The next thing I did, search Google. Search Google for a spray paint design. I believe I still have it up now. Okay, but you can go to Google and search up spray paint PNG, and the PNG will give you the transparent background, which we need for this. And just basically look for different ones like you see on the side over here that this website has to offer. You know, pretty simple stuff. Okay, let's jump back over to After Effects. Now we're going to take this spray paint, we're going to drag it below all the letterings but above your background. There we go. Let's take this, move it around. Might have to scale this up a little bit. Just hit S on your keyboard. Give it a little slight scale. Because what I'm trying to do here is the sides can be pretty small, but what I want is to make sure that most of this lettering is covered up. That looks pretty good right about there. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Because remember, we still got text down here, and we definitely want the ink or the spray paint to show behind that lettering. So, okay, what I also did was I went to Effects and Presets, did a tint, dropped it on the spray paint PNG, changed it to a slightly lighter blue, just like that. Now if we turn our background back on, there we go. Okay, now for the gradient, what I did was go over here, go to gradient, type in gradient, pick the gradient ramp, drop it on the top text. Let's go over here, let's change these colors around. Went with a darker blue. Okay, and take these markers that you can see at the top and the bottom and just move them around just like this. The further you move this white away, the darker it's going to get. Just like that. This up a little bit more. Okay, let's take this and adjust this color just a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Just play around with it. You know, it's really, you know, about preference. Okay, so we got that done. Now, on to the next little bit of text that you see right here. I believe this was a font called Backtown. I think I'm remembering that correctly. Backertown. That's what it was. Go to your text tool. Make sure you're not selecting any layers. Just click on anywhere and go YouTube tutorials or anything else you want to type out for your project. Let's take this and we're going to shrink it way down. We don't need it. Oh, uh-oh. All right, let's hit the back on that, or Control Z. Here, make sure we're selecting all the text this time. There we go. Now it's all shrinking. Here, let's get this over here to where we can see it. There we go. Take off caps lock. Still want this smaller, so double click your layer and it'll highlight all your text for you. Shrink this down just a little bit. We're going to turn this white. Just like that. I didn't put a wave or warp or anything like that on this because I wanted to try to get it to look as close as possible to what the website was offering me. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's copy this, hit Control D. This one, we basically want to do like we did for this other text, except for we're only going to take this blue right here. We're going to hit OK. Take this copy, drop it below the first one. Right click, go to layer style, stroke. Stroke, hit your eyedropper, click that blue, bring your size up a little bit. Size down a little bit. We don't need it that big. We just want to give it coloring a little bit of, there we go, something like that. Let's go over here, hit our move tool. Let's shrink this down. Just that. Hit shift and call it both of your copies in case you want to shrink both of them down like I'm about to do. Move this over and down a little bit because I want it just below my other lettering. And there we go. Something just like that. You know, I think I'm going to take it and tilt it just a little bit. Just like that. Yeah, I know. Not the same as this one here, but not the same as that one there, but I know. And the colors are a little bit off, but you see where I'm going with this. It's all about having fun and exploring the tools that you have available in After Effects. If anybody would like for me to do a tutorial about animating this, please leave a comment. I have done some tutorials, or excuse me, I have done some tutorials on animating text, so you can, you know, get a good idea of how to do this. But if you really want to see me animate this, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. And until the next one, everybody, take care of yourself. See you on the next tutorial.